You're listening to the Goof Norton Radio Show.
He's the best of the best of the best.
He a wonderful voice.
If you don't like him,
you don't have a soul.
I'm sure your sister will.
Hey, babe, you want to go out?
Hello everybody, my name is Goof Norton and welcome back to another broadcast of the Goof Norton Radio Show. So today is a little bit different. So recently I've been getting very bored, right? And I've been getting bored of a lot of things. Social media, video games, YouTube. What I mean bored, I don't feel like touching my Xbox. I don't really... YouTube, there's only so many new videos for me of the content creators that I do watch to see, so there's only so much content there, and I've seen a bunch of compilations at this point and a bunch of long let's plays from these people, and it's all kind of boring. Social media especially, because I'm like, Facebook for what? I don't use Facebook for much besides the occasional podcast promotion, but other than that, I don't really use it. Instagram is the thing I use the most, but that's for my posting my workouts and things like that I do for Instagram. Other than that, I don't use it, and Twitter is full of psychos, so, I try to stay away from there as much as possible. And Snapchat, I don't know why I still have Snapchat installed. Well, actually, no, I do know. The only reason I still have Snapchat installed is because I do have one buddy who I went to training with, who he's got a cool job, and he's away for a while, and so that's my way of contacting him. Because we both had Game Grumps in common. We both like Game Grumps. So he's good friend. Already just from that. But I've just been very bored with stuff. And I think this is my brain telling me, it's in my body telling me it's time to work. It's time to get some work done. And so I really want to not waste time. Even though it's been a couple days since this has been happening, I'm already wasting time, so I'm going to get back to doing some stuff. I took a break from my real estate class, the free one, the intro course that I'm doing, and just because I looked up some new qualifications. I looked up the actual course that I have to pay for my estate, and they're changing the standards, and so they're shortening the course. It was 90 hours, now it's about 60, I think. So that's a good change. It's a great change, but now I have to wait until they actually change it so I can actually purchase the course and then take it, get my license, and do whatever I need to do. And then I guess I'll start learning Japanese again. I had never really stopped. This is my third day off from learning it. I take a few days off in between to let some words kind of sink into my brain, and so that they click a lot easier. Sometimes throughout my day at work, I have times where I'm, of course, a lot of time where I'm by myself, so I can just say the random word and nobody look at me weird like I'm about to just kill everybody or something like that. But I really should get back into doing that because it's a good chance to be bilingual and learn something new. But like I always say, invest in yourself, and these are the times when we should be investing ourselves at the most, where these times where we're bored with everything, we don't feel like doing anything. We'll go learn something, because it's the typical stuff that we're bored of. We need something new, something fresh in order for us not to be bored. And that's why I do so many different things. I wish I had a drum set of my own, because I'd go back to drumming and I would love that, but I don't have one, so I have to wait until I get a new house or something to buy a drum set and drum. I've even taken a break off from the gym. Well, that's more for my body needs rest, that kind of thing. And I've ordered some new pre-workout and stuff like that, and I finally got an actual mouthpiece. I had a mouthpiece before, but it didn't work. It was the wrong mouthpiece. But I got a proper mouthpiece for lifting, so it's good now. And for those wondering, yes, you sometimes you do have to wear a mouthpiece when lifting, but it's for those who grind their teeth and stuff like that, and for those heavy lifts, for those who just don't know what to do. Like because when you're lifting heavy weights, sometimes I exhale very heavily sometimes, depending on how heavy the weight is. If it's like a max, I try to just exhale. Sometimes though, my teeth do grind a little bit, and so this is to prevent that from happening. But man, like this is an interesting time because I find myself going back, learning about history again, because that's what I get. Apparently that's what I do when I'm bored. I start going back to relearning the history that I've learned through in school and stuff. I've even found myself listening to classical music again, and again, for those who don't know, yes, I used to listen to classical music. Because I grew up learning about it in school. We had a music appreciation kind of class. It was just called music, and we learned, about all different types of music, the earliest forms of music and things like that. Classical. Then we moved to classical music. We learned about Johann Sebastian Bach and the Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's, Frederick Chopin's, Ludwig van Beethoven, things like that. And I watched one of Chopin's Piano Concerto number 1 in E minor. I watched that at work yesterday. It's about 40 minutes long, but I enjoyed pretty much every second of it. It's actually a very interesting piece. It was, when was it from? 1830 was when it was composed and then first performed. It's a very, very nice piece of work from Frederick Chopin, who was Polish. So that kind of stuff. I have that kind of knowledge, and it's very interesting, because music is a thing I'm passionate about, and I've worked with music for a very long time. So something I do take seriously for the most part. What's this? And so I'm going to find some more stuff to do. So maybe some more creative stuff. Like I think I've said before, I don't know if I mentioned it before or not, because some of these I don't post. I record them, but I don't post all of them. I record a few and then post them, depending on if I remember that they exist, and if I remember what I said or what the topic was about, or how well I think I did in the show. Because sometimes some shows I don't do well. I just kind of go and suck, basically, and just leave it at that. But even for this show, there's a few things I want to there's a couple topics that will be coming up that I will kind of branch out to. Music is one of them. But that's why I didn't want to stick this show to just gaming, especially gaming news. Because I'll talk about gaming. I don't really care about that. But I really wanted to talk more about gaming news. Because, I'm stupid. My mind is starting to wander a little bit. I want to talk less about gaming news because it's such a very restrictive topic. And I'm not that kind of person. And maybe if I could go on somebody else's show and talk about the other stuff I want to talk about, then I would just leave this podcast about gaming, and it would never really be a problem because I'd have an outlet. But I don't have a lot of people to talk to about this kind of stuff, who at least understand it in the capacity that I do, in some shape, form, or fashion. I don't know. And that's why I'm kind of glad we have access to the internet these days, because I'm trying to search and find more people who know about history and things like that. So I wouldn't say you could be a history buff, or you're like kind of a music buff, then please contact me, because I am bored and there are some things on my mind that I want to talk to. But again, I can't talk to a lot of people about that stuff because everybody's all about what's happening today and this and that. But I'm like, let's talk a little bit about history, because history is interesting. History is definitely very interesting. I even watched a Charlie Chaplin movie recently because, well, first of all, I do enjoy Charlie's work. He did comedy, and he lived, I think, a long time actually. And one of his best films, which is the one I watched, was The Great Dictator. It's a fantastic film. And so I watched that, and it was pretty cool. It was a funny movie, very touching too. It had some very emotional parts to it. And that just shows you how, and that film was made, what, 1940, I believe. So that was that. But this is a very definitely an odd time. Like, it's happened before where I get bored of stuff and I stop doing it. It's happened before when I gotten bored of video games, but I've never gotten this bored. Like, I have an Xbox, a Switch. Well, not a Switch anymore because the Switch is broken because things happen. And I have a bunch of other consoles, the old school consoles, of course. And I don't even feel like playing them or touching them. I even have PSP and a Game Boy Advance, but I just don't feel like touching any of them. Gaming is not something that's not really on my mind. I still touch Siege every now and then because I'm like, because recently I literally just hopped on and was like just that good at it. Sorry for that clicking though. That's clippers, fingernail clippers. I just have them by me. I'm not clipping my fingernails. I'm just like kind of playing with it while I talk, but I don't know. I'm very bored of everything, I guess. And I'm glad this is happening now. You know, I'm really glad this is actually happening now and not, later down the line. Because now this means I have an opportunity to get some real work done. And I have about, how much time? I got like 40 minutes before I actually have to, 30 minutes before I actually leave for work. But I'm very glad that everything has been pretty cool lately. I've had time to focus on some things. Granted, I haven't used all that time wisely, but we're going to start hopefully taking a few things more seriously. So I can... What the frick? Oh, that's weird. So I can start learning more, being more knowledgeable. It's boring. It's kind of boring not learning something new. After a while, my brain just needs something else to learn. I went back and did some word search, and I've heard cacophony used, but that is not what it doesn't mean what people think it means. It means a harsh, discordant mixture of sounds, is what the definition was that I googled yesterday while I was at work, because I was like, that's not what I'm thinking of, because I've heard people use cacophony to describe like an orchestra, and not even a bad orchestra, like a good orchestra, and it's the proper word is euphony, which is it's the opposite of cacophony. So it comes together and it sounds great. It sounds wonderful. Not euphoria, euphony. Ah, my microphone. I dropped it. I'm sorry. Sorry if anybody had to hear that. But euphony, it's a pleasure to the ears. It's a very harmonious. Is that the word? Harmonious. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Harmonious. See, again, these are things I have to think about because I have a decently sized vocabulary, but I don't get to use it often, which is why sometimes on the show I'll drop like a bigger word sometimes, because I don't get to use, because I know the synonyms and such, but I don't get the chance to use them very often, and it's kind of boring, and your brain kind of goes bleh because of today's text talk that is so prevalent on social media, and I hate it, and in real life, and I hate it. I'm gonna see what I can do to improve myself, and I'll see you guys, I don't know, again sometime, and give a progress update. And I'm thinking I'll give myself a month to see what I can learn in a month. Sorry, I almost had to burp there, but I suppressed it. I held it back for you guys because you guys matter to me, apparently. I'm just kidding. You guys matter. So, especially in the gym, too. That's going to be the bigger part where the focus comes in. because I've finally gotten some pre-workout, some good pre-workout, and we're gonna do some things. Some things are gonna happen, and my body's gonna transform. I'm gonna take a before picture. I'm gonna take an after picture, and we're gonna get pretty nice. We're gonna look pretty nice after we're done. Like, I can guarantee you that. And I'm gonna be probably the most shredded I've ever been in my life. And this is just an experiment. I'm not doing this to be a bodybuilder or anything like that, or competitions. I'm just doing this purely out of experimentation, because of the fact that I just want to see how far I can take my body, where I can go, you know. So please let me know, though, if you hear this. Let me know if you've had the same feelings before, and if so, what did you do during that time? Did you use your time wisely? Did you use that time that you had to better yourself, or did you waste the time and just fool around until you felt like doing the goof off stuff again? Because I don't think we get these feelings often. But I think it's partially because of how I was raised. You know, I was kind of raised to just work. You know, work hard now, goof off later. And I think that's an advantage. That's an advantage that I think I've had, because now I'm just really bored. You know, I'm just really bored of everything. Nothing is interesting. And so, sorry, I'm watching like stream. He's I'm watching an army buddy of mine stream. So I'll study up on some stuff, and I'll come back with some knowledge for you guys, and we'll talk about all that I learned, and if I learned some more Japanese, hopefully enough to communicate what I'm trying to say, enough to communicate effectively here, I will do so. But I mean, most of the people who watch this probably speak English, or sorry, listen to this, probably speak English. So, you know, but we'll see. Eventually, I will do a podcast in Japanese, and I'll post it on YouTube, so that way there can be subtitles and you guys can understand what I'm saying from subtitles. But oh man, I'm very sleepy today. So I'm gonna go get ready for lay work, and then I'm going to do some studying while I'm there. You know, I'm gonna take that opportunity that I have to study and make myself better for tomorrow. And that's something everybody should be doing. Do something today that's going to make you better for tomorrow. So thanks everybody for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys want to leave voice messages for me to play on the show, or you just have a nice comment to say, you have a nice comment or something you want to say or use, you can leave it on here on Anchor. You go over to Anchor, search Anchor Podcasts on Google. You will find the Anchor website, should be anchor.fm, and find my podcast. Leave the voice message so that way I can hear it, and if you want me to play it on the show, I'll play it on the show. And contact me on social media. You know, check me out while I'm still here, because I may end up deleting a few social medias for a little bit to make space on my phone for other stuff, but also just because if it's not being used, I'm not going to use it. If it's not being used, I'm not going to keep it. If it's not being used, it's not being used. Well, no dip, Sherlock. Freaking idiot. All right. I'm going to let you guys go, because my brain is going to mush. So once again, thanks for listening. And as always, I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.